All right, welcome into the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, presented as always by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County, as well as Faulkner Auto Group and theChamonixFootball.com. Speaking of the Chamonix football, 49-7 victory over Ben Salem this past Friday. Big game this coming Friday over there at Abington. Game you can hear on WBCB 1490.com. 49-7, nice another conference league win, and DeAndre Power, a career day in the first half. So.
Yeah, I mean, again, we challenged everybody up to really establish that line of scrimmage. And first play, we totally blocked it, absolute 100% incorrectly. But we went after everybody that we blocked and really kind of got into them and created that seam. And one guy that's kind of our adjuster in the blocking scheme made a great pickup, and they committed to stopping our run with an extra player, and we were able to, once we got in secondary, it kind of created, there wasn't that safety net for Ben Salem.
Right.
So we were able to get in there and get going, and so I was happy to see it. He's starting to get that vision, keeping his hips down a little bit, and he certainly has that speed. Once he sees the end zone, I don't think he likes getting caught. Mm-hmm. So happy for him, but I'm real happy again for the way he conducts himself and the way our guys kind of took a step and really establishing the line of scrimmage.
You've been very critical in a nice way about DeAndre Power, about how he's been very proactive in thanking his offensive line. If you watched the NFL this weekend, Ryan Matthews had a career day. Media came to grab him. He said, "Before you guys talk to me, you better talk to my offensive line." Yeah. And DeAndre kind of gets that. So that's what I did this week. I talked to your offensive linemen. I talked to Dan Johnson and John Cook. Two great seniors. Polar opposites personality-wise, but
beautiful.
But besides that first play, I guess, the offensive line, man, you talked about hat-on-hat football. They really tried to get
I was happy with that. I mean, I thought we'd had some sloppiness going on. We put out a little challenge, and in the past, Ben Salem up front is they had good size, and they play pretty strong, and they've done a relatively good job against some good teams. They've lost some crazy games at the end, and they just seemed dangerous, and so all those guys up front were back and everything. So we really wanted our guys to get out, and we were one of the few times, well, we were considerably outsized,
right.
And so we wanted to get up underneath them and really use our technique and stay aggressive, and I think for the most part we were able to do that. Once again, our perimeter guys, on some of our run game plays, and got us to the perimeter pretty well, and got DeAndre and a couple other guys. I mean, I thought it was, I think we had 5 guys score touchdowns, and you worry about these kind of games because you just want to get a full game. You want to be able to get some playing time and get some reps and do some things, and it just kind of puts you into makes you worry about other things that you got to make sure you cover.
Yeah, sure. This team this past week, offensively, defensively, played a great game. Defensively, a guy that really stood out, and we talked about how it was going to be a physical game. Alex Nicholas there, defensive line position, had a nice game penetrating the offensive line.
Well, they're very good at running that inside trap play, and they've got a nice fullback that really sees it well. And we thought, we felt that with Alex in there, they had they had big kids, but we felt we could hit them with some quickness and a little bit more aggressive play, and he just wreaked havoc in there.
Yeah.
And took 2 guys on him, and sometimes he was going this way, they were trying to go that way, and he's a handful.
Yeah.
And you want to try to run that inside stuff to him. It's an adventure sometimes. And I thought the tackles did a good job squeezing from their end, and the backers filled. So I thought defensively, the things that we practiced all week, I thought we held up and did a nice job.
It kind of worked out well, I guess, and you can kind of comment more on that. That you played a Ben Salem team that maybe record-wise didn't have a good record, but coming in, they were going to be physical with you. Yeah. And you got 2 big games now coming up here at the end of the season. That's probably got to feel nice to get a nice little tune-up going to get these 2 other games.
It does. I mean, and you're looking at it, and this year's been kind of, it's hard to explain.
Right.
And we've been able to get up on some people and do some things. And, you know, this game, first play, there we go, and stop them and punt. And then we had a, you know, goofy turnover.
Right.
Next play, bang, they hit
Sure.
a kid down the middle. And, you know, we have a busted coverage, and showed us a look we hadn't seen. And they did a nice job with it. And now it's 7-7. And everybody's like, oh, gee. And we talked about, you know, don't give these guys, don't give a team like this anything to get momentum, you know. And to our credit, I thought we answered it. The next play, you know, we run a play in there, and, you know, DeAndre hits it again, and the defense makes another stop, and then we bang another one in there, you know, down the field, and Ham takes it in. So we answered that,
Yeah.
and you know, that makes it's something you can check off. You know, have that, you know,
Yeah.
you have that checklist as a head coach of things you want to do, and you can draw from that, and that's the key. I mean, you know, you got to deal with the situations. You
Sure.
got to deal with, you know, adversity and all that kind of stuff when you're playing a season. So for that part, okay. Now, how it happened was kind of stupid, but you know, it happened, and we dealt with it, and you know, they learned, and we learned, and here we go.
You know, what's really been fun to me this year is that, you know, a lot of young guys have been getting some reps deep in the games. And a guy we talked about early in the year about somehow you guys just find running backs year in and year out to get 1,000 yards. A guy that really stood out to me late in the game, Will Dogba, had a nice little game.
Yeah.
Only a freshman. And we were talking in the box. It seems like you guys just find these great running backs, man. Will, seems like,
Will's a good
and his
kid.
brother Dan as well. The team.
Dan,
Yeah.
you know, Dan's more of a bigger guy. Will's he's a quiet guy, and
Yeah.
you know, we had some situations there where we had to keep him up to make sure, because we had the backups in the running back position. You know, with DeAndre being a junior, is Troken and Devin, and, you know, on the varsity are two seniors. Well, you know, so we had to make sure we had enough depth for a JV and a sophomore team.
Right.
So we made that move, and the ninth grade team had a couple backs. So we were able, you know, we wanted to keep everybody playing and rolling. So Will came up with us, and he's been marvelous.
Yeah.
He really has been. And you know, it took him a while to get a little adjusted, but he's made some real nice plays for us. He does a great job for us during the week, and on Mondays he's really been picking up the pace. So you know, it's nice to see those guys. You know, Treadway's a ninth grader,
Yeah.
Mason's a ninth grader. So you know, it's nice to see those young kids, and then you know the juniors, the sophomores and juniors step in and do their part.
Well, speaking of doing your part, this Friday night over there at Schwartzman Stadium, big game. 7-1 Abington against the 8-0 Neshaminy Redskins, a game you can hear on WBCB1490.com. We're going to take a short break and come back and talk about that game here on the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, presented by Aria Health, Faulkner Auto Group, and NeshaminyFootball.com. We'll be right back.
At an orthopedic institute, world-class specialists, surgeons, and technology are a must. Personal care is too. The Aria 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City, Bucks County, and South Jersey. With over a century of experience, the 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners, personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For joint replacement, sports medicine, spine care, and more, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the Aria 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
If you are looking for a new car, where do you go? Faulkner Auto Group at 4427 Street Road in Trevose is where to go. For the best deals in Bucks County for all of your new or pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs, go to Faulkner Auto Group. It is always Faulkner to be sure. You can also always go to www.faulknerautogroup.com. Just remember, this year it's Faulkner Auto Group for your new car or truck. 4427 Street Road in Trevose to be sure. Faulkner Auto Group, 215-364-7720. Faulkner Auto Group, a proud supporter of Neshaminy High School football.
The Mark Schmidt Show is brought to you in part by NeshaminyFootball.com, a proud supporter of Neshaminy football. Whether it's 2013 team information or look back at Neshaminy's 85-year football history, make it NeshaminyFootball.com. All right, welcome back into the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, presented once again by Aria Health, Faulkner Auto Group, and NeshaminyFootball.com. Big game this coming Friday, probably your biggest test to date as far as record-wise is concerned. Abington's really pumped up for it. You go to their place, go to the Graveyard, and a place that you guys went to 2 years ago and And was that a winner? I'm not okay.
Yeah,
I'm not remembering. I'm not trying to be
No, they
okay.
kicked our tail.
So
Had a good
big
club that
game,
year.
7-1, 8-0 to Chamonix. They feel like conference is up for grabs, and they're gonna come out and play for it, I guess, on Friday.
Look, it's for us. It's week 9, and we've every week we attack certain things. I mean, we know we're going to see a very aggressive, tough Abington team, and it's over at their place. I'm not sure if I don't think it's senior night. I think they have a game next week, which I don't know. That might hurt us more than help us because that kind of be a distraction. But
Right.
But anyway, it's a great night. It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, I told our guys on Monday. I said last week there are about 100 teams in the state that still control their own destiny. This week we're probably down to about 60,
Okay.
and 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and all of 60 teams that still have control of what they do, and we're one of them. And there's about 620 teams that play football. So that's a good thing, and and our guys accept that and they go, and we've been able to prepare, and we had a good day yesterday, getting oriented, and we're looking for another good day today to get things going. They certainly know what we do. We got a good idea what they do, and Tim always has a few things under his sleeve, and Colin, our D coordinator, does a great job, and getting their guys ready. They're always very aggressive, very very fast team, and they've got a big running back in Reynolds, and very very big offensive line that plays very well, is well coached. Tim's the line coach there, does a good job with it, and we've got to be smart. We can't fall asleep. They take shots downfield, and they pound the running back in there, and they try to take it outside with their speed. And then on defense, they try to wreak havoc at the line of scrimmage and come over top with linebackers. And it's the fact that we've pretty much put ourselves in the postseason. We've made this our two practice games for the playoffs.
Right,
because
sure.
they're 2 playoff caliber teams that will probably be in it also. So shoot, let's see how we match up. Let's have some fun. So.
Well, it's funny you mentioned earlier about controlling your own destiny in a sense. It's got to feel good for you as a coach going back to training camp knowing, look, we want to get to the point where week 8, week 9, all we have to do is work on ourselves, not this team losing, up in this team, getting points here. So it's got to feel good where you are right now. You're undefeated, and you control your own destiny now the next 2 weeks.
And you're right. And, having that chance and being able to work your way through it has been good. And in the process, we've seen some other guys step up and provide some depth. We've seen some other guys really kind of, that you knew after halfway through the season, you kind of knew they were going to get some traction and get going, and they've done that. And it's nice to see some of those younger guys now kind of come in with a little straighter back and a little higher head and playing. And now that number of nucleus kind of went from about 24 to about 32. And
Right.
shoot, now you've got some guys, and the kicking game. Both kickers have made nice strides in the right direction. So I mean, look, it's fun to see. Now let's just go out and play. I mean, they're coming to watch 2 good teams play football.
Sure.
So everybody says high school football and football's going down and nobody cares about young kids today. Well, you know what? Go over to the graveyard on Friday night. You'll see a whole lot of people trying to get into a place, and have some fun and cheer for us and cheer for Abington, and isn't that what it's all about?
I would agree with that. And the Schwartzman Stadium, one of the cooler atmospheres in District 1. The Chamonix will be there this Friday night playing Abington. And, you talked about it kind of being a pseudo playoff schedule the next 2 weeks for you guys.
Sure.
Have you seen any more intensity in practice? Weather change, it gets colder. The guys kind of know, playoffs are coming.
I got 1 or 2 guys that much rather play in the cool weather.
Oh,
than
yeah.
hot weather. I mean, when we had that humidity back then a couple weeks ago.
Sucking wind.
It was like we're a bunch of wilting flowers, for God's sake. I'm out there. What the heck's going on here? But coach, this is cool, man. And they're out there, and they feel better. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, sure.
I don't have too many. I don't know. We'll find out what kind of the divas show up this weekend today here with fanny packs and thermals.
You like that stuff?
Don't worry, they'll get an earful if they do. So we'll keep them running around and keep them warm. But there's both ends of the spectrum.
Sure.
Man. Shoot, that's kind of fun too. So, and Ennis gets on their ass pretty good about that stuff.
Give me some guys you expect to step up this week and now going forward, guys that have maybe we've not heard of. DeAndre Pollard's a guy that's been coming week in and week out, and Tyler Wamo. Give me some other guys you're looking forward to. Maybe as the intensity grows, them kind of rising to the top.
Well, with this team, you have to you got to bank on the older guys that
right.
know it. We can't sit here and hope Luke plays well. You can't sit here and hope, that Devin plays well.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sit here and hope that, Denny plays well. And those guys, they got to go play well.
Right.
And they got to go out and do their job. And then you got to make sure that the younger guys or the certain guys, the Dorians who are new and. You hope Taz goes in there and does his thing like he has to Alex Nicholas. And Matt Bianchino's another new guy that's learning that's starting this year. Matt Maggs, Denzel. Those are the guys that I kind of really want to see go out there in the big picture and get in their stance and play hard. I want to see Hunter Kelly and Billy Ritchie and those guys go out there and do it. The other guys. They better know how.
Sure.
I want to see him pack. I want to go see, J.R. Boniface Stevens. I want to see those guys go play, because Cole should, and, Blake should, and all. They've all played. Shoot, if they're not playing well, then great. It'll be then we have to worry about something else.
That's right.
So and that's what we talked about. Just pulling those guys along, and seeing guys stepped up, and guys stepping in when certain guys need a break or something. That's been the fun part. So, yeah, that's kind of where I am with it,
Right.
and that's where we are with it. And, we've been fortunate enough to be together as a staff to know, and we've been with these guys a long time, and they get it.
Right.
And, the position I did leave out is not on purpose, is Tyler and and Mason, that kind of thing, that quarterback spot. Manage the game, do the job.
Yep.
We've got to get it downfield. We've got to take shots. We got to run the ball. We got to move the chains. We got to be smart. Can't have stupid penalties. Turnovers. This is when mistakes get magnified.
Yep.
And on either end, key, penalty at the wrong time, turnover, something like that. Missed assignment. This is when things get magnified because everybody's on point. Because they're gearing up for a big game, so they've got their mind on their business.
Each team's different year in and year out. Emotionally, how they act compared to other years. This year, is this a team? Like I said, I'm an outsider. Really, the only guys that are inside are you and your guys and your coaches. Is this a team that really can kind of police themselves, or some teams need that coach in their ear, but it seems like you have a nice core nucleus of guys that are vocal leaders, not just play the game. So is this a group you think can kind of police themselves at times?
The cool thing about it, Matt, for me is there have been years where I've had to pretty much lead it and
right.
coach it, and the assistant coaches. Our assistants really have a great rapport with all the kids, and if they're feeling something, if they're kind of seeing it, they can jump on it,
right.
and some things, really don't get to the point where I have to step in, and we haven't had much of that. We had a situation last week where there was a big event, the night before our game, and it was a big school event, and a lot of guys were interested, and we talked about it, and then the whole team decided, no, we're not going to go out there and do that and take away from what we're doing at senior night and such. And in part, we made a big donation to the organization, and it was all about Cancer Awareness Week. So we made a donation as a part of not participating, but and we showed a sign by wearing the pink tape on our wrists, which we've never done before. And those are things that they decided to do, and those are things that we all sat down and talked about. And they all went, I got you, coach. Yep. And they went back and forth, and everybody. We're on page, and now we went out had a good win against Ben Salem, and the seniors and the parents were honored, as they should have been.
Sure.
And I think everybody played. It's the perfect senior night for a coach. Trust me.
I'm not gonna imagine.
It is, and we come out of it, pretty good shape. So, and now we're ready to get on the road again and play another good team.
Well, back-to-back road games coming up. First here at Abington, and then the game next week against some team. That game. It's a game against. I don't know who it's against.
It's week
somebody.
10,
so week 10. That's what it is.
We all know who week 10 is.
Okay.
That's one thing we do know. We know who the last game of the year is.
Well, week 9 is against Abington over there at the Graveyard. A good event. Come on out. Support your Neshaminy Redskins game. You can also hear on WBCB 1490.com. 8-0 versus 7-1. A big game, a big matchup this coming Friday. Speaking of big games and big matchups.
Oh.
You went 1-1.
1-1 again, didn't I?
Yes, you Florida State, great pick. Jameis Winston came out.
See, I knew that
You
team.
were-
I watched them play.
You had something, man. I'll tell you.
I was channel surfing one afternoon, and I think I saw them play like Maryland or something. And Maryland was on a roll.
Yes.
And I
Shut
saw
them out.
about 2 quarters of that, and I said, "Man, they got some dudes." And that kid, woo! I mean,
He can play.
Wow, he just looks like he's. It's amazing how some of these kids come out, how some of these young men come out. I mean, he's a year out of high school,
Yeah.
and I mean he comes out with that development and that
It's
type
unreal.
of, obviously he's been blessed, but mentally, that's the
Very
key.
sharp,
That's the key. I mean, the mental aspect of
Yeah.
it is impressive, and give his mom and dad credit for and he just acts like I mean, in that environment, the way he acted, the way he competed, that was really impressive.
We'll give impressive notes to this guy because he picked that upset going to Death Valley, man. That's a tough place to play for a redshirt freshman.
Close, my man.
From the kickoff, man, the horn blew and that game was over. So we're going to go 2 college games because there's too much drama with the Eagles and there's too many variables.
Yeah.
I don't want you to pick.
And look, you gotta. There's no way I could have picked. I thought that they
I don't
would
think
play
many.
better,
Sure,
but
it's Cowboys.
Yeah, but I did think they'd have trouble defensively. But they played okay, but they played great. Go ahead.
Well, 2 college games we're going to talk about this week. One very near and dear to your heart. We got a big one. Urban Meyer still undefeated at Ohio State, coming to Nittanyville. Are you going up for that game?
No.
You're going to miss a good one, man.
Coach, are you kidding me?
I know it's very.
You know what? Next week.
I do.
Are you kidding me?
Game I know very near and dear to your heart. I'm sure
I
in the
have to-
Schmidt household.
I have to make reservations.
Yes.
In the bathroom. Man, are you kidding me? It's a busy time.
I'm sure that game's going to be on some television in your house on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Big game, Ohio State, Penn State. Can Coach Bill O'Brien and that team...
It's at Ohio State. Right?
It's at Penn State, I thought.
Is it?
I think. Don't
No,
quote me on that.
last year was at Penn State.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, it's at Ohio State. It's in Columbus, so that
Yeah.
destroys it even more. Never mind. Does not look good. Urban turn that team around.
Well,
really quick.
he had that. He had the week off and then kind of fell flat against Indiana, but nice win versus Michigan. Thrilled for him and the program, but I just think there's a little too much.
Yeah.
Too many. I might have to sleep in another room.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't
Covers
make
a little
this
bit.
public.
No, I will not. I
All right.
won't post it until
But
the same
anyway,
day.
that Braxton Miller and
Yeah.
that crew, and the defense is very good.
Like the
So
players.
I think and Iowa woke them up a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
So
All right, so the Buckeyes on Saturday night. Another game. This is a Pac-12 game, but kind of has a Big Ten feel. Stanford, UCLA,
Ooh.
2 really historic programs, physical teams. Stanford coming in after a loss to Utah
Coach.
2 weeks ago.
I hate to correct you.
It's not UCLA.
It's not.
Who is it?
Stanford beat UCLA.
It's Oregon, UCLA. I messed it all up. I'm sorry. This show is going off the rails, and I will get text messages from your coaches that just destroy me now.
Send your emails to Merle Reese.
Don't
about
do that
this.
because then he'll know. Oregon, UCLA. Okay, 1 microwave dynasty showing up. UCLA, the historic program.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Those
Ducks are pretty good.
Ducks are tough.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where they're playing. That's a tough one. I mean, Stanford. I saw about a quarter of that one, and they were just playing hard.
Yeah.
Apparently, Oregon's just got. I've never seen them play this week. This
Oh,
year.
you haven't? Okay.
don't-
I recommend you do it because it's like watching the game and fast forward.
See, I'm just not a fan of that.
I know you're
Sorry.
not.
I like the tight ends.
I know you do.
I like the fullbacks.
I know you're a Jim
Sorry.
Harbaugh
I
for
like
the group guy. You want
I
a fullback and a tight end and double.
Come on, man.
I know.
You know, those,
I get it.
Stanford gets it done.
Well, I'll tell you, a guy that is more the traditional double tight fullback set. Is this offense here to stay? This Oregon offense, you think, or is this a?
Well, there'll be teams that have it because it's a recruiting tool.
Right.
There are quarterbacks out there. The quarterback position is just busting because of all the exposure and all the new things that are out there for them. And there's guys that don't fit the pro model.
No.
There's guys that have to be mobile. There's guys that can run. There's also guys that can stand in there and make the throws. And then there's the guys that do both. That are the RGs and the Russell Wilsons and Andrew Luck. I mean, and Kaepernick. I mean, those are the guys that play in the league. So I mean, and so they're four, and I guess there's about 40,000 quarterbacks in high school.
Yeah.
So you have to.
Yeah.
And that's their MO. That's who they are, and they can roll.
Do you like Oregon big against UCLA?
Well, I think Oregon's going to score more.
All right. That game will not be on in Coach Mark Schmidt house. That'll be the Penn State game. It'll be on in every TV in the house.
I think it's my daughter's homecoming, so
yeah?
So we've already plotted out the driving schedules for the weekend. That's more intense than playing Abington. Let me tell you, figuring out all this mess. So
well, we hope
football, mother goose.
We hope the intensity is there. It's definitely there on Saturdays with the driving is concerned. Friday night will be there as well at Schwartzman Stadium, Abington, Neshaminy. Huge game in Suburban 1 National League play. A game you can hear on WBCB. 1490.com. I didn't have it today. I just came in and I just did not have it. I'm misquoting teams. I was just a mess today, so I appreciate you taking me through the game show.
Let's hope that the Redskins are a little sharper today than you were.
I was not, so hopefully this does not transit to Friday night. For me. For them, I know it won't.
Friday. Let's just worry about Wednesday practice. Okay, Coach?
All right.
Stop.
I'm a mess.
All right.
For Coach Mark Schmidt, Matt Miro here from WBCB, Aria Health, Faulkner Auto Group, and TheShamoneyFootball.com. Signing off, we'll see you Friday, everybody. Take care.